What happens when a quarterback gets snubbed for MVP, then plays the biggest game of his life? DC Defenders quarterback Jordan Ta'amu responded with a performance that shattered expectations and records. But that's just the beginning. I'm going to talk about Jordan Ta'amu's performance and how it stacks up against some recent spring football history. Also, a look at the league's future from as much as we can gather from what we heard from the UFL front office last week. First, let's rewind to the final game of the UFL's 2025 season, where a quarterback with something to prove led his team to one of the most dominant title game wins in recent memory. The DC Defenders rolled to a 58-34 win over the Michigan Panthers in the UFL Championship. DC quarterback Jordan Ta'amu with some eye-popping stats: 390 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. His top target, Jaden Mickens, with 132 yards receiving. Not to mention, DC rolled up 190 yards on the ground. To look at that DC 58-point performance through the lens of recent spring football, it was the highest score for a team in the UFL's 2 seasons. The XFL 2023's biggest performance was St. Louis's 53-28 win over Orlando in April of that year. The Birmingham Stallions scored the most points of any other team in that league's 2-year history with a 47-22 win over New Orleans in a playoff in June of 2023. Even going back to XFL and the Spring League of 2020, the final game of the 2020 XFL saw LA score the most points of the COVID-shortened season with a 41-34 win over the Tampa Bay Vipers. And in November of that year, the Conquerors and Generals of the Spring League both scored 42 points on the same weekend. The AAF's first weekend in its short, unhappy life saw the Arizona Hotshots score the most points for one team, a 38-22 win over the Salt Lake Stallions. I think you can attribute Jordan Ta'amu's performance to a couple of things. Number one, offensive coordinator Fred Keiss had an incredible game plan against the Michigan Panthers. And number two, Jordan Ta'amu had an incredible chip on his shoulder after Michigan Panthers quarterback Bryce Perkins was named MVP and Offensive Player of the Year.
And, I told them, pregame that I'm going to put my body on the line for them. And they did that. Bryce Perkins is a great quarterback, and, he deserved all the award. And it just gave us a big chip on our shoulders to go out there and play even harder.
I felt like he was deserving of it. Obviously, 3 over there is an amazing player. But just the year that he had, I thought, truthfully, I thought it was a lock. But just seeing the work that he had and the progress that he's had from year 1 to year 2 to this year, he just played with a different confidence this year. And I mean, you see it today. This stat line is insane. It's just like, but that's him. Like, in a big game after getting that news 24 hours ago, he didn't flinch. He didn't try to do too much. He didn't let it affect him, and he just balled out, and he got the MVP today, and that just shows what type of person he is. He's a great human over a great football player. So, I felt like I didn't do enough throughout the season to get him that MVP, so this game was a little personal, and it worked out in our favor.
Well, unfortunately, the attendance at the Dome for this game in St. Louis was sparse, an announced crowd of 14,559. Pro Football Newsroom's James Larson posted this video 10 minutes before kickoff. The venue question for the league as a whole has been on the minds of fans and the front office. There's been talk of expansion from the front office, and there has been rumors of relocation from the entire internet. But Russ Brandon, Danny Garcia, and Daryl Johnston all addressed the media last week before the championship game, but didn't really go into a lot of detail. Here's what they said.
We did an RFP process when it came to expansion. We're looking heavily into the process. We're taking a lot of rigor to it. We're taking a lot of time and effort to do it the right way. And as far as ownership's concerned, the board and the ownership group up to date on our process. That was the main reason we didn't put a timeline on it. We wanted to make sure that we went through it from a very authentic position and with a lot of integrity as we go through it. And so I think as we stand now, we will continue to look at it over the next few months, meet with the board and make some decisions. But I think it's in a very good place from a process. People know that we're building it the right way. We're in it for the long haul, and that comes with expansion. It comes with incremental growth, and it comes with the opportunity to bring our great game to our fans on incredible platforms.
passion for what we believe this league is going to be drives the decisions and the work that Russ, Daryl, and the rest of our executive team is doing, so that when we do have these conversations, it makes a lot of sense. Very excited.
I think one of the things that Russ always talks about is incremental growth and doing it in a way that is sound and provides us the opportunity to make sure this league is sustainable moving forward. It's great to hear how many people are interested in some of the topics when you talk about expansion. But when it's right for the league, that's when we'll make that decision, because the most important thing to us is making sure that as we move forward incrementally, that this is built on a sound, responsible platform that helps us sustain the success that we've already experienced.
There are leadership meetings scheduled for this week and surely beyond to talk about the UFL framework and what it's going to look like in 2026. So hopefully we will get a little more clarity soon. If there is news worthy of reporting, stay with this channel here in the offseason and check out Alt Football Digest at altfootball.com for news and analysis. I will have more videos up about the UFL and alt football history throughout the summer. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to get early access to some of those videos and support the channel. It's just 99 cents per month. Also, of course, I'll throw in a shout out to some new members in there as well. Here are a couple of videos right here that YouTube says you'll like, so here you go. Thanks for watching.